Okay, class. So for this video, for this lecture video, I will be discussing the topics under Module 3. So it covers the phases and elements of felonies. So in our previous videos or lecture videos, we already discussed the definition of a crime, a felony, and an offense. No, so just a recap: crime is the general term of all actions or omissions that are violative of law, while felony is the omission or actions that are punishable mostly under the revised penal code, which is which should be related to the concept of mala inse, or the commission of a crime based on criminal intent, while an offense is one that is violative of special penal laws, like the violation of Republic Act that punishes child abuse, or any other Republic Act that are in penal in nature are considered offense. So now let's proceed to the discussion on the elements of felonies. There are basically three elements of a felony. So an action, or an omission meaning you refuse to do something that you are required or you are supposed to do. So that is an omission, because crimes can be committed by doing something or by refusing to do something. Now, the first element of felony is that there must be an act or omission. So that is already discussed. Act, you need to do something. Omission, you are supposed to do something but you refuse to do so. So for example of an act, the act of killing. Okay, murder is a punishable crime under the revised penal code, and that is a felony by doing an action, the act of killing. Another example is the act of getting things that you don't own, that is robbery or theft. Okay, so what are crimes of omission? Such as example is that the refusal of a person of a business establishment to issue official receipts, that is punishable under a special law. So for the law provides that every business establishment is required to issue a what you call this, an official receipt, and an OR. But if a person refuses to issue his or her customer the required official receipt, then that is punishable under the law. So that is omission, an offense. Sorry, I need to adjust my camera. Okay. Now, the second element of felony is that it must be punishable under the revised penal code. As I mentioned earlier, an act or omission is not considered felony if it is not covered under the revised penal code. I think that is self-explanatory. The one that I want to emphasize more is that the third element is that the act performed is considered or incurred by dolo, or is done by dolo or culpa. Okay, Latin phrase or Latin words again. Dolo means malicious intent, deliberate intent, evil intention. Okay, dolo, intentional. Okay, that is dolo. When you say culpa is as I mentioned, I think I already mentioned it in the previous video. Culpa means neglect, negligence, imprudence, recklessness. Okay, so let us discuss it more. Okay, when we say dolo, okay, you need to remember three things. Okay, three requisites of dolo. First, the action must be characterized with freedom, intelligence, and intent. Okay, when we say freedom, you a person is doing the thing or committing the crime based on his own free will, meaning nobody is coercing him or her to do the act that is punished by the law. For example, you killed someone, okay, you murdered someone, if it is murdered, or you committed homicide, so you kill someone. If the act of killing is intentional, meaning it is through your own volition, through your own what is this, through your own you commit the crime on your own. Nobody is forcing you, nobody is coercing you, nobody is threatening you to kill someone. Then that is an exercise of your free will. For example, if a person wants to kill another person, then that is punishable by law. But if a person um, kills someone just to defend himself, as in a case of self-defense, then that is not an act of free will, because you are it is part of your human nature to defend yourself, no? So that you cannot be punished by law because you try to defend yourself and you killed someone because of that act of self-defense. Also, another example is that if someone threatens your family, or threatens to do physical harm, or kill you, or kill or hurt someone of your family, if you will not commit some other crime, such as getting or robbing someone of his or her personal possession, then it can be a valid defense, no, in that case, that you did what you that crime, or you committed that crime not because you wanted to do it, but someone forced you, coerced you, threatened you to do that, no? So again, in every case, it needs to be evaluated, no? You just cannot say that I was threatened, no, to do this crime. You need to present to the court, no, evidence that the threat is um, is something that is equivalent, no, or the threat is commensurate to the crime that you have committed. For example, you killed someone, no, you killed someone because according to you, you were threatened, and the threat was that you will be punched in your face if you will not kill someone. Then the threat that was thrown against you is not commensurate with the crime that you have committed. Okay, so again, it needs to be evaluated on your level, no, in your level. You just need to understand the concept of freedom, that the act of committing a crime is based on your free will. Okay, that is freedom. I hope I emphasize it enough. Next, intelligence. Okay, intelligence meaning you do or you committed the crime based on that. When you commit the crime, you fully understand the effect, the legal consequences of your actions. Okay, for example, you kill someone, and by killing it, it is on your own volition, meaning based on your own free will, and you understand that killing someone is illegal, is illegal, is a crime, it is a violation of the law. You understand, no, you understand that killing is wrong, and yet you still committed the crime of murder or homicide. um, for what are the instances when someone committed a crime using his free will but without intelligence? For example, uh, I already made an example before, the sonambulism. Okay, the defense of sonambulism. Again, sonambulism is the sleepwalking. Okay, sleepwalking. So you do something on your sleep. Okay, so it can be argued that it is not within your freedom because you are unconscious. But the proper defense for if you put in sonambulism as defense is the lack of intelligence. Okay, you have not understood that at the time that you have committed something, you have not understood the legal implication of the actions that you have committed. In case of insanity, which is a very common defense in a criminal case, the defense of insanity, when the time you have committed the wrongful act, um, you are not you are not in your proper mind, meaning your action is not in based on your intelligence. You have not understand fully the effect and the legal implication of your action. So freedom and intelligence are a little bit synonymous. Okay. um okay, so when we say culpa, we have freedom, intelligence. I know, dolo, freedom and intelligence. And then intent. Okay? Intent is in very is a very important keyword when we say dolo. Intent meaning deliberate. Sa Tagalog, pinag-isipan, ginusto. Okay? Binisaya, tinuyo. Okay? So again, intent, intentional, deliberate, pinag-isipan, ginusto. In Tagalog, in Binisaya, tinuyo. You you kill someone intentionally, no? For example, you buck someone, meaning you punch someone in his face with the intent to kill. Okay? So in boxing or in punching someone's face, your intention based on the circumstances of the case is that you really intend to kill someone, so that is intentional. But if you box someone without the intent of killing, then the crime can be cannot be said to be dolo. Okay, it can be negligence, it can be imprudence, or the crime might be of a lower degree, from murder to homicide. Okay, basta you need to understand that there are three requisites in dolo. Again, freedom, intelligence, and intent. Intent in Bisaya is tinuyo. Tinuyo na nga binuhatan. In Tagalog, ginusto, pinag-isipang gawin. Okay? So, again, I need to speak in at least three languages, no? Because some of my students are Tagalog, some are Bisaya. So I need to emphasize some concept in the vernacular and in or in a Filipino language. Okay. Now, culpa on the other hand, has the same two requisites, the freedom and intelligence. So freedom, ginusto, freedom, you are not forced, you are not threatened, you are not coerced to do something that you don't want to do. That is freedom to do, or free will, exercise of free will. Intelligence, you know the import, the legal implication, and the effect of your action. That is intelligence. In culpa, instead of intent, no, yung pinag-isipang gawin, gituyo nga binuhatan, in culpa, the act, no, the criminal act is because of negligence or imprudence. Okay, negligence or imprudence. Negligence, when we say negligence, it is deficiency of perception. Deficiency of perception meaning you lack foresight. There are things that you in everyday life, no, in your everyday living, you have to plan things like, for example, if you don't want to go if you don't want to go late to your class, then you need to wake up early. Okay, so if you wake up late, then automatically the chances of you getting late in your class is very great or very high. So the fact that you have not sleep early or um, um, sleep early or planned your actions ahead to avoid you being late, then you already lack perception, no? Sa Binisaya pa, no, dinanghag ka, danghag, no? That's negligence. In Tagalog, ano bang Tagalog ng negligence? Um, I'm sorry, I'm not fluent in Tagalog. I cannot find the exact term for negligence in Tagalog. Negligence. If in Bisaya, danghag, dinanghag. Um, I don't know. I really cannot. I cannot find the exact Tagalog translation of negligence. Let me check. Negligence. You need to adapt, no, into this kind of teaching, um, especially that you are enrolled in a distant learning course. So this is not the typical classroom setup. Okay, so there are some innovations that we need to do in order for you to learn as much as possible. Okay, or at least facilitate your learning, because distant learning is very independent in nature, no? This is more applicable in um, adult learning style. Okay, this is independent learning. You are supposed to learn based on your own effort. So these lecture videos that I am going to upload will only be an aid. Okay, will only be an aid to your learning process. So based on Google, no, negligence in Tagalog is kapabayaan, pagpapabaya. Okay, pagpapabaya. Okay. So that is the Tagalog translation based on Google. I'm not sure if that is accurate, no? But negligence is the deficiency in perception. You ought to know something, but you failed to do but you failed to exercise, due diligence in doing it. Okay, for example, no, murder. This is one very common example, no, because it is easier to appreciate, no, because most of us is very at least, no, at least have a basic knowledge or already know of the crime murder. Okay, so murder is the killing of a person. Okay, if if the action is with dolo, no, intentional. Okay, so the killing is with intent. It is deliberate, pinag-isipan mong patayin ang isang tao. Okay, so in culpa, no, you have no, no, you have no idea, or you have no intention to kill someone, but because of your lack of foresight, because of your lack of perception, because of your kapabayaan, because nagdinanghag ka, okay, you killed someone. Okay, like for example, driving under the influence of liquor. Okay, so you know for a fact that driving itself is dangerous, no? You sober drivers meet accident. What is more, excuse for the background, uh, what's more for those driver who are driving under the influence of liquor. Okay, so that is lack of foresight. You are not supposed to drive. Okay, you are not supposed to drive under the influence of liquors or alcoholic beverages. So, or you are driving very fast during a rainy day or rainy night. Okay, it is a rainy night. It is dark. The road is slippery, and yet you have not reduced your speed. So the chances of you meeting an accident and causing damage to property or killing someone is high. Okay, but for, you have no intention to kill someone, you have no intention to cause damage, so it cannot be classified as cool as dolo, because you have no intention to kill, so it cannot be classified as murder. So it can only be classified as reckless imprudence resulting to homicide. Okay, then imprudence, deficiency of action. So when you say deficiency of action, um, for example, you are a gun owner. Okay, you own a gun, and as a gun owner, as a responsible gun owner, it is your responsibility to keep safe your or safely keep your gun and avoid it from being easily accessible to someone who is not competent to use a gun. Okay, but because of your deficiency in action, or deficiency of action, or again kapabayaan, because we don't have every word, no, in exact translation of an English word to our vernacular word, to our native language, no. So because of your kapabayaan, or because you fail to act with prudence, no, of safely keeping that firearm of yours, somebody got hurt, somebody died because of it. So that is negligence. Okay, again, dolo versus culpa, the same. Freedom, intelligence, and the only thing that is different from the two concepts is that dolo requires intent, culpa is a result of negligence or imprudence. Okay, sir, how can you say that, question Logarno, there's a common question here, sir, how can you say that a crime of culpa is with freedom or intelligence when you say there is no intent to kill? Okay, or there is no intent to cause harm, there is no intent to commit a crime, there's still freedom. Because going back to our example of reckless imprudence resulting to homicide, or resulting to um, damage to property, uh, you have the freedom to drive. Okay, you have a freedom to drive at night, you have a freedom to drive at the speed that you want. Okay, but you chose not to reduce your speed despite the fact that it is night, and the road is slippery because of it, because it is raining. So you have the freedom, and you are and no, you know for a fact that driving in that kind of scenario and without reducing your speed is is illegal. Okay, or or at least, if or at least because of the things, or because of those circumstances, the chances of you meeting an accident is very high, or it's very probable. So the probability is high, and you know what will be the legal consequences if you meet an accident. Okay, so that is the reason why freedom and intelligence are still elements for the crime of culpa. Okay, now, phases of felony. Okay, phases of felony, we have only two phases of felony. We have what we call subjective phase, and we have what we call the objective phase. It's quite self-explanatory, no? When we say subjective, it pertains to self, no? Again, let me adjust first. Wait lang. Sorry for the interruptions. Whew. It's not easy to be a teacher. Okay? Okay. When we say subjective phase, no, this is the time, the moment when the person start to conceptualize doing, no, doing um, the criminal act. Okay, it is the point, no, according to your text, don't call this textbook, according to your material. Subjective phase is starts from the point where the offender begins the commission of the crime until to the point that he has control over his acts. What do you mean by that? Okay, what do you mean by that? um, it only means to say that the person, no, who is example, sorry, um, again, my favorite for this lecture, no, murder. Okay, murder. When is subjective phase starts and when it will end? Okay, subjective phase starts from the time that you commit, you act something, you plan to kill someone, and you perform overt acts. Okay, overt acts meaning actual, no, actual actions or positive actions, meaning you did something. Okay, you did something to accomplish your intention of killing someone. Okay, so for example, you stab the person. Okay, you stab the person. Okay, and when you try to stop the person was hit in his body, but no vital organs was affected. Okay, so meaning because of that stab, the probability of death is distant. Okay, far from occurring. um so that's still in subjective phase because you still have the control of whether to stab him or her more, or to cause more physical harm in order for your crime of murder or homicide to be consummated. Okay, so that is subjective phase. You have the control over the result, over the result of your actions, whether if you stab or if you cause more physical harm to ensure that the person you intend to kill will surely die, then that is still in the subjective phase. Okay, objective phase is the time when all actions or all acts was committed in order to ensure that the person or in to ensure that the crime you intend to commit will be consummated. For example, again, in a murder example, uh, you stab someone. Okay, when you stab someone, you did not hit any vital organs. Okay, so that is still subjective phase because you still have the control whether to inflict more physical injury in order to kill that someone or to kill a person, or you desist from doing something, or desist from doing, sorry, there's a bug, desist from doing other overt acts, okay, to cause more damage to that person. So if you desist, then the person will not die. Okay, so in the objective phase, you stab the person, and because of that stab wound, he will surely die if no other intervention will happen. No, so you stab, for example, his liver. The organ liver is very it's a vital organ, so if it is stabbed, then bleeding will occur, then that person with stabbed liver will surely die. So the result of the death is imminent, meaning without doing anything, no, without doing anything, death will surely occur. So that is objective phase na. Okay, huh? Again, to to simplify. Okay, person A wants to kill person B. Okay, person A try to person A stab person B in his shoulder. Okay, when person A stab person B in his shoulder, person B runs, but person A pursued him and inflict more stab wounds to person B. Okay, so on the second attempt, or on the second stab wound penetrates the lungs, or penetrates the lung of person B. Okay, so definitely with a punctured lung, the person will die. Okay, so subjective phase starts from the time you intend to from the time that you stab person A um, in his shoulder until you pursue him to inflict more stab wounds. Okay, that is subjective phase. Objective phase, on the other hand, is the time when you caused or you inflicted a punctured on the person B's lungs. Because definitely a person with a punctured lung without immediate medical attention will surely die. Okay, so meaning you don't have any control as to the result, because your action already ensure that the crime that you have committed will be consummated. What is important in identifying the phases here is that if if the subjective phase, the subjective phase was already finished and or ended. Okay, when the subjective phase is already ended, and then objective phase ensued. Okay, or you are the you are already in the objective phase of the crime, and the crime was not consummated because of external factors, then the crime is considered frustrated. Okay, frustrated. But if it's still in the subjective phase, then it is only attempted. Okay, uh, you try to kill someone. Okay, you try to kill someone and you only inflict a wound in his shoulder. That is attempted murder or attempted homicide. If if person A punctured person A lungs, the person's A lungs, with the intention of killing that person, but the person did not die because an immediate medical intervention was done, then the crime of murder was or homicide was not consummated because the person did not die, so it is frustrated. Okay, so it is important for you to appreciate subjective and objective phase. Okay, next, or the last topic under module 3 is the manner of committing crimes. There are based on your workbook, based on your workbook, we have 5 manners of committing crime, but I think the most important thing, or the most important manner, the two most important manners that you need to understand is the formal and the material crimes. Okay, when we say formal crimes, there is no attempted. Okay, there is no attempted, meaning there is also no frustrated phase, so once you do something, it is already on the objective phase, it is automatically consummated. Okay, so what are the examples? I think I already mentioned a few in the previous discussions. We have, let's say, slander by deeds, or slander, or libel. Okay, perjury, false testimony. Okay, um, um, Yeah. So, for example, slander, the fact that you already uttered slanderous or libelous words against a person, that is already consummated. There is no such thing as attempted or frustrated libel. It is the action is either libelous or not. Okay. As well as perjury. Perjury pertains to false testimony. Okay. It is either the testimony that you have given or the sworn statement that you have given is false or not. So there is no such thing as attempted or frustrated perjury. Okay. Material crimes, on the other hand, is like murder. It has three stages, no? Three stages, and it undergoes the subjective and objective phase. Okay. Again, subjective phase, objective phase. Subjective phase, attempted. Okay. These are attempted stages. Okay. Or objective phase happens, or okay, sorry, um, attempted crimes happens during subjective phase. Okay. I would like to emphasize that attempted crimes, okay, like attempted murder, attempted robbery, happens in subjective phase. Okay, it needs to be evaluated in trial, no, if the actions committed by the accused is still within the subjective phase. If it is still within the subjective phase, then the crime committed is only attempted. If it already went through the objective phase, then the crime can be either frustrated or consummated. When we say consummated, it happened. The crime was fully executed. Consummated murder, consummated robbery, or frustrated robbery, frustrated homicide, frustrated rape. Okay? So, things like that. Okay? So, formal and material. Crimes consummated by mere attempt. Okay, this is the exact, it kind of exact opposite from what we call the formal crimes, no? Because in formal crimes, there is no attempted stage. It goes directly to consummated, no? Consummated stage already. Um, when we say crimes that are consummated by the mere attempt, no, there are also crimes that the mere attempt to do is already punishable by law. For example, attempted um, attempted attempted treason, no, there is a crime of the there is a crime that punishes the act of attempting to do treason. Uh, um, there is also a conspiracy to commit treason, that is only conspiracy to commit treason is punishable, is a crime under the revised penal code, no. The mere fact that two or more persons, no, decided to commit treason is already punishable by the law. Okay, so they have not executed any treasonous acts, yet they are punished by the fact that they have conspired. Okay, flight to enemy's country. Okay, the mere fact that you attempt to leave the country and go to the other to the country wherein Philippines is at war with, then that is already punishable by law. You will appreciate this more if you will okay, if you will pass criminal law 1 and proceed to criminal law 2, because in criminal law 2 you will be discussing the specific crimes. Okay, felony by omission. Okay, felony by omission. Example here is the one that I given earlier, the one that the person failed to issue a official receipt, no. When you go to stores, eat in the restaurants, those establishments are required to issue receipts, and if they failed to issue receipts, then that is felony by omission. Okay. Then crimes requiring intervention of two persons, meaning you cannot commit a crime without the other person. For example, bribery. Okay. Bribery is the act of giving valuable things, no, to other persons, in order for you to gain benefits from the government. Okay, so that is the simplest way of explaining bribery. So meaning, you cannot commit bribery by your own, no, you need to have a government official or employee to accept the bribe, okay, for you to commit the crime of bribery. Okay, so to wrap up, okay, there are five manners of committing crime. Formal crimes, meaning those crimes that has no attempted or frustrated stage, automatically goes to consummated stage. Material crimes, whereby the acts pass through the three stages: the attempted, frustrated, and consummated. And then we also have crimes that are consummated by mere attempts. And then there are what we call felony by omission. And then the last one is the crimes requiring two persons to commit in order for it to be consummated. Okay, so that would be all for module 3.